Thank you, Presiding Officer, and let me, like others, thank Drew Smith for the opportunity to discuss this issue in Parliament. And let me declare, just for the avoidance of doubt, my continued regretful shareholding in Lloyds Banking Group, since I'm going to be talking about banking generally. It's really a matter of great regret in what's happened in the banking industry in particular, the great division there is between the rewards that there appear to have been for failure at the top of too many banking organisations and the very real price and hardship that's experienced by those in the front line who have not had the luxury of very much gold-plated pensions and large payoffs. So at Christmas in particular, our thoughts are with those frontline staff and their families. The broad causes of banking difficulty have been well discussed. But a couple of the causes are worthy of a little bit of examination. One is the interaction between investment banking and clearing banking. In the aftermath of the last crash in the 1930s, we saw Democrats Carter Glass and Henry Steagall bring forward legislation that required separation between investment banking and clearing banking. Section 20 of the 1933 Glass-Steagall Act prohibited any bank in the Federal Reserve System from being involved in the issue, flotation, underwriting, public sale or distribution of securities. That was a successful innovation that protected the clearing bank system really across the world for many generations of bankers and bank customers. The Glass-Steagall Act also put a geographic limit on the operation of United States banks. They could only operate in a single state. That didn't work so well. Banks like the Bank of America, based in California, simply went international. Banks like Citibank, based in New York, did the same. So some of it worked and some of it didn't. There was an attempt in the mid-30s to overturn some of this, but President Roosevelt said the old abuses will come back if underwriting were restored in any shape, manner or form within the clearing bank system. And so we are here today because that is precisely what happened. Firstly, in the United States in the 60s, the Glass-Steagall Act began to be interpreted in a different way, and you saw the barriers breaking down. And in the 1980s, Margaret Thatcher's government basically did the same here. So that's one of the causes of the causes. The other one, which is contemporary, is one of qualifications. Frontline staff are encouraged to study in their spare time, and many achieve a qualification from the Institute of Bankers that is at least equivalent to a first degree, and in my view, given that you have to do it in your spare time, a much harder qualification to achieve, and it's regarded as absolutely necessary for frontline staff. But it's worth noting, interestingly, that such qualifications and the experience that goes with it has been notably absent from the ranks of senior management in both the Royal Bank and the Bank of Scotland, and to a lesser extent in the Clydesdale Bank. When the Royal Bank and the Bank of Scotland both got into difficulties, there was only a single senior manager in each bank had any banking qualification of any kind. We need the frontline staff to be qualified, and yet somehow we've got a system that allows the people who make the real key decisions to be unqualified. I can't help feeling that that contributes to that. It's just worth, in closing, to say that the Clydesdale Bank, in a sense, was lucky. They'd previously been owned by Midland in the 1980s, at a time when everybody was fearful Midland were going down the tubes. They nearly did. Hong Kong and Shanghai saved them. They sold off Clydesdale. But Clydesdale were ill-managed and ill-served by the Australian owners. We saw rapid turnover of chief executives in a year, 18 months. We didn't see the kind of support that enabled them to develop their franchise. And actually, as luck have it, kept them out of some of the mire that other banks got into. But nonetheless, that inattention is still part of where we are today. Finally, I close by reminding people that the previous name of the Clydesdale was, of course, Clydesdale and North of Scotland Bank. And so, therefore, for me and my constituency, this is not simply a matter in Glasgow. It's a matter that touches on my constituency's interests and people right across Scotland. Presiding Officer.